What's up, everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Let's dive right into our first news. Nick Diaz is officially back home and back in the gym, and fans are already hanging on every word he says. During a recent training session, Nick was teaching bottom escapes alongside Jake Shields, breaking down details with the same intensity that made him one of the most respected minds in MMA. After the class, the conversation shifted to Islam Makhachev and JDM, and Nick did not hold back when explaining what he believes went wrong. Nick talked about watching the fight closely and said this is exactly what is happening right now in the sport. He explained that he watched Islam fight the Australian contender, and while he said he did not feel sorry for him, he made it clear that lessons need to be learned. According to Nick, the biggest issue was simple but brutal. JDM did not know how to get up. He did not understand how to escape systematically. And at the highest level, that mistake gets exposed immediately. Nick went on to say that people might want to excuse it or feel bad, but there is no room for that in a title-level fight. He explained that you cannot be a high-level fighter and not understand why a black belt is passing your guard and holding you down. Nick emphasized that if it were him in that position, even without being Islam, he would pass the guard and force a tap. In his words, Islam does not rush submissions. He stays heavy, keeps control, and slowly breaks you down. That control, Nick said, is the real issue. The question is not why Islam stayed on top, but why JDM allowed himself to be controlled for so long. Nick pointed out that this was a fighter with 0 losses going into the bout, yet he did not truly understand what was happening underneath him. Watching that same scenario play out, round after round, frustrated Nick, especially knowing it was a 5-round title fight between 2 of the best fighters in the world. Nick explained that over 5 rounds, JDM never properly executed leverage. He broke it down in detail, saying the knee is the leverage. You put the knee in, you break the position, and you do it step by step. You then bring the arm underneath and keep working it. According to Nick, if you do that correctly and consistently, control like that cannot be maintained. Instead, Nick said he watched for 3 rounds as JDM failed to understand this basic but critical concept. To Nick Diaz, it was not about toughness or heart. It was about knowledge, fundamentals, and awareness. In elite MMA, especially against someone like Islam Makhachev, failing to understand those details is the difference between winning a belt and spending 5 rounds stuck underneath. And before we continue, make sure to leave a like on the video and subscribe to support the channel. Moving on to another news, Islam Makhachev has weighed in on the growing controversy surrounding Michael Morales and the sudden changes to his professional record. Morales was once again listed as undefeated on Topology, but it is clear that Islam is not buying into how the situation played out. The confusion started when Topology announced it had learned Morales was choked out in a 2017 bout that took place on an Ecuadorian reality television show. Following that discovery, Morales' record was briefly changed to 19-1. The situation escalated quickly on social media. Morales publicly pushed back against Topology, while Sherdog stepped in and announced that Morales' welterweight record would not be altered. Sherdog explained that after reviewing the footage and circumstances, the bout in question was classified as an exhibition rather than a professional fight. Jay Petrie from Sherdog clarified that their Fight Finder database had already reviewed the Ultima Pelea reality series 2 years earlier and determined those tape-delayed matches should not count as professional bouts. Eventually, Topology reversed its decision and aligned with Sherdog, restoring Morales' undefeated record. While that settled things on paper, the debate was far from over. More recently, Islam spoke with Match TV and shared his blunt thoughts on the situation. He pointed out how Morales was not undefeated just days earlier, but suddenly had a perfect record again. Islam said he watched the fight, saw Morales get choked out inside the cage, and then heard it was labeled an exhibition match. His response was sharp and direct, saying that if it does not count, then Morales needs to be choked out again. That comment immediately caught attention, as it sounded less like criticism and more like a warning. There is already reason to believe that Islam and Morales could cross paths in the future. Morales has been extremely impressive inside the UFC, putting together a 7-0 run so far. In his most recent appearance, he defeated Sean Brady in dominant fashion, further solidifying his position as a top contender. At the moment, Morales sits at number 4 in the welterweight rankings, and his momentum continues to build regardless of what happened nearly a decade ago. The reality show bout from 2017 is unlikely to affect any UFC decision-making, especially given Morales' current performances against elite competition. Still, Islam's reaction highlights how closely fighters pay attention to records, reputations, and narratives. Whether the controversy matters or not, it has added extra intrigue around Morales' rise and a potential future clash with Islam Makhachev. The champion has made it clear that numbers on a website do not change what really happened in the cage, and his message was delivered with the kind of edge only a dominant champion can bring. Moving on to another news, the idea of Khamzat stepping up to light heavyweight to face Alex Pereira is gaining serious traction, and some big names believe it could end with Khamzat holding even more gold. Khamzat has made it very clear that he is more than willing to fight Pereira next, and the confidence behind that call-out has not gone unnoticed. The potential matchup has sparked debate across the MMA world, especially because of the massive stylistic contrast between the two fighters. Recently, Khamzat even challenged Pereira to throw down on the rumored White House card in June, which only added fuel to the fire. During a recent episode of the Pound for Pound show, Henry Cejudo shared his thoughts on what Khamzat's path should look like and how he would match up against Pereira at 205. Cejudo explained that Khamzat still has responsibilities at middleweight and needs to defend his belt before moving up. In his view, once that defense happens, Khamzat should face the #1 contender at light heavyweight, and then the Pereira fight makes perfect sense. Cejudo made it clear that stylistically, this is a very good fight for Khamzat. He emphasized that grappling is the key factor and reminded everyone that Khamzat's top control and discipline are on another level. According to Cejudo, those attributes alone make this a dangerous matchup for Pereira, especially if the fight goes to the ground early. While breaking down why he favors Khamzat so strongly, Cejudo revealed that he had also spoken to Jon Jones about it. Jones reportedly pointed out Khamzat's freakish strength and physical presence. Khamzat is a big athlete, standing around 6'4", and is roughly the same size as Pereira. When you combine that size with relentless pressure, elite grappling, and intense top control, Cejudo believes the advantage swings heavily toward Khamzat. Cejudo went even further, saying he favors Khamzat 100% if the fight were to happen. He explained that Khamzat is smart and would not try to strike with Pereira unnecessarily. He knows exactly where his advantage lies and would take the fight there without hesitation. For Cejudo, that fight IQ is just as important as physical tools. Cejudo is not the only person who believes Khamzat could potentially end Pereira's reign at light heavyweight. However, there are still obstacles in the way. Khamzat has yet to defend his middleweight title, and Pereira has been vocal about chasing a fight with Jon Jones. Because of those factors, this matchup does not appear likely to happen next, but the conversation around it is only getting louder. Moving on to another news, Khamzat has once again stirred the conversation around his future inside the octagon. In a recent video shared by MT Gym 23, Khamzat was seen speaking with a group of people and kids in a casual setting. When asked about his next fight, his response was blunt and direct. He said that nobody wants to fight him right now and expressed clear frustration with the situation. Khamzat suggested that despite being ready and willing, opponents are not stepping up. With talks around a possible matchup against Imamov, nothing appears to be finalized as Khamzat continues waiting for his next challenge. Moving on to another news, Derrick Lewis has revealed what he believes is the reason behind his dramatic physical transformation ahead of his next fight. Recent photos circulating online showed Derrick Lewis looking noticeably leaner and in outstanding condition, with many fans calling it the best shape of his career. Now, Lewis has explained what he credits for that change. Speaking on a recent episode of the Beast and the Cowboy podcast, Derrick Lewis openly claimed that the UFC provided him with peptides. According to Lewis, the peptides completely changed his recovery and had a massive impact on how he feels day to day in training. He said he is currently in the best shape of his life, not just physically, but mentally as well, and described everything as going perfectly right now. Lewis did not hold back when talking about the effects. He explained that he has been taking the peptides daily and feels a clear difference in his body and performance. He described his recovery as incredible and said the change has been a complete game changer for his camp. The confidence in his voice made it clear that he believes this has taken his preparation to another level. Lewis's coach, Bob Perez, also spoke about the impact during the same podcast. Perez said he was extremely proud of Derrick Lewis and described his recent training sessions as unreal. According to Perez, Lewis looked like a video game character in the gym. reacting faster than ever and showing elite mental clarity. He explained that whenever he called out an adjustment, Lewis responded immediately, without hesitation. Perez added that Lewis's recovery stood out the most. After completing intense 3 5-minute rounds in training, Lewis still had energy left. On a day that is usually kept light, Lewis insisted on doing heavy bag work afterward. Perez said he was genuinely shocked by how quickly the peptides appeared to take effect and how much they elevated Lewis's overall performance. Perez finished by saying he believes this could be a major turning point for Derrick Lewis, calling it a potential game changer as he prepares for his return. Moving on to another news, Jeff Novitzky has responded directly to claims made by Derrick Lewis regarding peptides. After Lewis suggested that the UFC had provided him with peptides, Novitzky quickly shut that down on social media. Writing on X, Novitzky made it clear that the UFC did not provide Derrick Lewis with peptides at any point. He explained that peptides are prohibited at all times under UFC rules and Athletic Commission regulations. According to Novitzky, Lewis was actually referring to injectable compounds that are third-party tested and fully certified as allowed at all times by TrueShield. Moving on to another news. Conor has sparked massive discussion after revealing surprising details about his UFC contract during a recent live stream appearance. Conor has been popping up on multiple streams lately, and during one of them, he dropped what could be huge news about his future. In an unexpected moment on a Roblox livestream, Conor claimed that his existing UFC contract has effectively been voided due to the promotion's new broadcast deal. According to Conor, the UFC's new agreement with Paramount has changed everything. He explained that his previous contract, which reportedly still had 2 fights remaining, was based heavily on pay-per-view points. With the new deal eliminating traditional pay-per-views on Paramount, Conor said that structure no longer applies. As a result, he believes his contract is essentially void. He emphasized that he is the highest generating pay-per-view fighter of all time and suggested that the old system is now finished. Conor went on to say that he is preparing for fresh negotiations with the UFC in February. He sounded optimistic and very interested in how those talks will unfold. He also mentioned that he is targeting a return on the rumored White House event, making it clear that he is still fully committed to training. Conor stressed that he is locked into the gym, focusing on his health, his recovery, and following his coach's game plans closely. While speaking about the White House card, Conor said he is warming up for that opportunity and would absolutely be ready if negotiations line up. He explained that with the UFC's new Paramount deal reportedly valued at $7.7 billion, the company has dramatically increased its overall value. In his view, that shift means fighters like him are due for new terms that reflect the current business model. Conor also talked about his mindset, saying that external noise does not affect him. He stays focused internally, keeps his inner dialogue strong, and tries to lead by example for his team and the younger fighters around him. According to Conor, living and breathing the sport every day is the only way to stay ready for moments like this. All of this has led to speculation about why Dana White may have shut down the idea of Conor fighting Michael Chandler on the White House card. If Conor's claims are accurate, it could explain the hesitation. If his contract is truly void, that would technically make him a free agent. That scenario could open the door for Conor to compete under his own promotion, BKFC, or negotiate a massive one-fight deal with the UFC before exploring other options. For now, none of this has been officially confirmed by Dana White or the UFC. Until that happens, everything Conor said should be taken cautiously. But there is no denying that his comments have added a new layer of intrigue to his already unpredictable future. Moving on to another news. Ever since the UFC's White House event was announced, there has been non-stop speculation about how stacked this historic card could be and which fighters might compete on it. The event is planned for June 14th, and because of the prestigious location, expectations are extremely high. However, recent comments have suggested that Russian fighters may not be allowed to compete on this card, which could significantly impact the lineup. Based on remarks attributed to Merab, fans should not expect to see any Russian fighters involved. This detail immediately raised eyebrows, considering how many elite names fall into that category. With the White House card expected to be very special, the UFC appears to be navigating unique logistical and political considerations behind the scenes. Recently, TMZ Sports caught up with UFC commentator John Anik and asked him what fights he would book to headline the White House card. Anik suggested that the heavyweight championship should be front and center. he mentioned a possible rematch between Tom Aspinall and Ciryl Gane, noting that many fans are eager to see that fight again. Anik also acknowledged that a lot of people want Jon Jones versus Alex Pereira, but emphasized that it remains unclear whether that fight will actually happen. Anik went on to suggest Petr Yan versus Merab in a co-main event for the bantamweight title. He said he hopes the UFC can stack the card with 4 or 5 undisputed title fights on the White House lawn, and expressed optimism about that vision becoming reality. There is no doubt that many fans want to see Yan and Merab face off for a third time. However, Merab recently explained why that matchup will not happen at the White House event. Speaking to MMA Pros Pick, Merab said the UFC told him he is next in line for the belt, and that a trilogy fight with Yan will happen, but not at the White House. According to Merab, the promotion told him the fight could not take place in June because Yan is Russian, making it impossible for this specific card. If this restriction applies broadly, it would mean several top-tier fighters would be ineligible, including Islam Makhachev. Setting the Russian angle aside, there are still questions about whether Aspinall versus Gane is big enough to headline such a historic event, especially since neither fighter is American. Dana White has stated that the card does not necessarily need US-based athletes, but it is hard to ignore that Jones versus Pereira would be a much bigger fight. That said, Dana White has repeatedly said that booking Jones is not currently planned because he cannot rely on him. On top of that, it is unclear if Aspinall will even be ready by June after undergoing surgeries on both eyes. While Anik floated the idea of 4 or 5 title fights, stacking the card that heavily could complicate other UFC events before and after June 14. Another major variable is Conor. Any fight involving him would instantly become one of the biggest on the card. However, Dana White recently said the UFC is no longer considering Michael Chandler as Conor's next opponent, as it has been 3 years since that fight was first discussed. Chael Sonnen added that if Conor ever returns, it will not be at 155 pounds, and it will be against a serious, active contender. According to Sonnen, if Conor does come back, it will be about business, not nostalgia, and only time will tell how the UFC ultimately shapes this historic card. That's it from MMA Pulse News. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe for your daily dose of MMA news.